Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Tori and welcome to the Blazers 2019-2020 schedule breakdown. Now, if you want to skip this intro and you aren't interested in the whole process that went behind this, then you can skip ahead to the time that I'll mark at the bottom of the screen. If not, I'm going to start this video off by going over the process that I used to build a simulation for the Blazers season. Now, what I did for this is I gave each NBA team a projected record that gives them a winning percentage. Then I gave Portland odds to win each game based on Portland being a 50-win team. So with Portland being a 50-win team, if they hypothetically played another 50-win team and they played them on a neutral court, then Portland would have a 50% chance to win the game. But I also included home and away. So if Portland plays on the road, their odds to win went down 10%. If they played at home, their odds to win went up 10%. And this is just based on historical home versus road records for an average NBA team. And then I also docked Portland's odds to win a little bit based on whether or not the game was a back-to-back or if it was like their fourth game on the road and they could be burning out from a long road trip. I slightly tweaked some of the odds just for that. Then I used a random number generator between 1 and 100 to determine whether or not Portland won each game. If Portland had a 90% chance to win, then any number between 1 and 90 would have meant a win for Portland. Any number 91 to 100 would have meant a loss for Portland. So using that, I simulated Portland's season 10 times over and we got some interesting data to go over. I also came up with the best case scenario for Portland, which was a 60-22 season, which I think will be fun to look at as well. So on this table, we have the date and the game on the left, and then we have 10 simulations up top, and then we have our average record, which was 50-32. So looking at this first slide, you might notice that Portland's average record after 17 games was 7-10. So if Portland is 7-10 after 17 games, Portland will be on a 50-win pace. That is something to think about, and it should be remembered that if Portland doesn't start too hot, that they have a very tough opening schedule. I mean, you look at all these road games, 13 of their first 18 games are on the road. And with Portland being the strength of a 50-win team, they were only above 500 in 3 of the 10 simulations. And they were only 9-8 in all 3 of those simulations. If Portland can be above 500 17 games into the season, they're looking very good, because after that, the schedule lightens up mightily. When you go to the second part of the simulation, you'll see a lot more green and a lot of huge winning streaks, especially starting in early December. That's because Portland has a ton of home games, but they also have a very easy schedule. You have Oklahoma City, Chicago, Sacramento, Oklahoma City again, the New York Knicks, the Phoenix Suns on the road, come back home. The Warriors aren't as tough as they used to be. The Magic aren't that great of a team. The Timberwolves, the Pelicans, that's a very easy December schedule, and Portland could rack up a lot of wins. In Simulation 5, Portland was 9-13, and then they went on an 18-1 run to end up 27-14. You had multiple long winning streaks, and looking at the record at the new year, Portland should actually be looking pretty good, as a 50-win pace would mean Portland is 21-14. So October and November are very tough, but December is where Portland is going to have to make up ground because they have a very easy schedule. Going into the new year, it gets tough yet again. Portland has many games on the road to start 2020, but I wouldn't say their level of opponent is all that great. The Knicks, the Wizards, the Heat, the Timberwolves, the Hornets, it's not as bad as it was in October and November. So here you have a pretty mixed bag of sorts, and after going through this entire schedule, we'll look at Portland's average winning percentage from each month. The end of January into February is a bit tough, starting with the Indiana Pacers on January 26th. You got the Pacers, the Rockets, the Lakers, the Jazz, the Nuggets, the Spurs, and then the Jazz. That's 7 playoff teams in a row. You could easily see Portland possibly lose 5 games in a row, as that happened in multiple simulations. It even happened in the best case scenario. Here on the far right, Portland was 37-11, then they ended up 37-16. And that was, of course, the simulation where Portland won 60 games. But right after that stretch, Portland has one of the easiest 30-day stretches that I've ever seen for any team, and that starts on February 9th with the Miami Heat. And we're just going to run through these teams. Miami Heat at home. Borderline playoff team in the East, should be able to take care of them. Pelicans, Grizzlies, Pelicans, all those are lottery teams. Then we have the Pistons, borderline playoff team. The Celtics and Pacers, those are playoff teams. But then we have the Hawks, the Magic, the Wizards, the Suns twice in 3 games, the Kings are in the middle of that, the Grizzlies. Then we have a tough game against the Rockets, but that's at home, and then we have the Timberwolves, the Mavericks, the Timberwolves, the Hornets, the Pistons again. That is such an easy stretch from February 9th to March 25th. And if you look at this schedule, there's a lot of green in there. If we're able to make a good move at the trade deadline, we could rattle off so many wins during this stretch. You could see another 13-game winning streak, which Portland had a couple of seasons ago. And not only are the opponents very easy, but Portland has 11 of 17 of these games at home. Then after that stretch, the schedule gets tough again. We have multiple playoff teams, the Celtics, Sixers, Nets, Jazz. We do have a couple bottom feeders at the end there, the Grizzlies, the Cavaliers. Both those teams could be tanking. And then we finish off with the Nuggets, Warriors, and Clippers. So that was a look at our schedule throughout the entire season. Now we can go over to the averages of all these simulations. So here we have our average splits for a 50-win season, and as you can see, October and November are very tough. We end up at 10-10, but then December is a very easy slate of games. We should go 10-4 in December if we're a 50-win team. January, again, not all that difficult, 9-6. February 7-5, and then March, it's that easy stretch that I just talked about. We should go about 10-5 during that month, and then April 4-2 to close out the season with a 50-win season. Now, obviously we need to do a little better than these numbers if we want to win more than 50 games, but that outlines a 50-win pace. Here you can also see our win-loss total progression. Our average winning streak was 8 games. Our average losing streak was 4 games. At home, our average record for a 50-win season was 30-11. On the road, it was 20-21, and I think that makes a lot of sense. That's about on par with the last couple of seasons. Against the West, our record should be 31-21. Against the East, 19-11. Now, last season against the West, our record was not good at all. We beat up on the Eastern Conference. In these simulations, I definitely saw a little bit more balance than last season. And honestly, the schedule is a little bit opposite of how it was last season. Last season, we had an easy schedule off the bat, and we needed to get off to a quick start, and we did. Of course, the past 3 seasons before last season, we got off to a very slow start, and then we had to fight back from it. And the way the schedule lines up for us, I think that will definitely be the case this season. But if we can somehow start hot against this tough early season schedule, if we can end up 11-6 after 17 games, we'll be set up perfectly for the rest of the season. So anyway, let me know what you noticed about our schedule next season. Let me know what you thought about some of the things that I outlined in this video. Just leave me a comment down in the comment section below. So with that, that's a wrap for the schedule breakdown. I hope you enjoyed. This has been Tori. I'll see you Blazer fans later. Peace out. Go Blazers.